As of 5:59 p.m. Eastern Time, Trump has not yet been indicted. Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. Welcome to day 791. The Senate advanced a bill to repeal the congressional authorization used to attack Iraq in 1991 and 2003, nearly 20 years to the day that the U.S. began its shock and awe campaign to topple Saddam Hussein. The bipartisan legislation would repeal the 2002 authorization for the use of military force that George W. Bush used to justify the 2003 invasion, as well as the 1991 authorization from the first Gulf War under his father H.W. Although Obama formally ended the war in Iraq in 2011 and ordered the withdrawal of U.S. troops, Trump used the 2002 authorization to justify the airstrike that killed Iranian military leader Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad in 2020. It's unclear, however, if Kevin McCarthy will bring the legislation up for a vote in the House, but Chuck Schumer said repealing this authorization for use of military force is a necessary step toward putting the final remnants of the Iraq War squarely behind us. Meanwhile, the Pentagon will accelerate the training and delivery of Abrams tanks and Patriot missile defense systems to Ukraine. The U.S. will send 31 older model M1A1 tanks instead of the more modern version of the tank in order to get them to Ukraine by this fall. A group of 65 Ukrainian soldiers, meanwhile, are scheduled to complete their training on the Patriot missile system in the coming days. 2 Patriot missile systems are expected to be deployed to Ukraine in the coming weeks. Back in the U.S., the Minnesota House of Representatives advanced legislation that would protect patients who travel to that state to get an abortion, as well as the providers that treat them. If passed by the Senate and signed into law by the governor, the Reproductive Freedom Defense Act would prevent state courts or officials from complying with extraditions, arrests, or subpoenas related to reproductive health care that a person receives in the state of Minnesota. The bill now goes to the state Senate, where Democrats hold a thin majority. Meanwhile, Missouri's Republican Attorney General filed an emergency regulation to limit access to gender-affirming treatments for minors. Governor Bailey's new rules will require an 18-month waiting period, 15-hour-long therapy sessions, and treatment of any mental illnesses before Missouri doctors can provide that kind of care to transgender children, according to Bailey's office. At the same time, the Missouri State Senate advanced a pair of bills to prohibit gender-affirming healthcare for minors and restrict them from competing in sports. Both bills, which sunset in 2027, need a final vote from the state Senate before heading to the House. Moving on, Joe Biden designated new national monuments in Nevada and Texas. The designation of the Avi Kwa Ame Monument in Nevada and Kastner Range Monument in West Texas protects nearly 514,000 acres of land from new development. Biden also started the process to designate a new marine sanctuary in U.S. waters around the Pacific Islands just southwest of Hawaii, which will protect 777 square miles of islands, reefs, and marine life. After taking office, Biden committed to conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by the year 2030. Moving on, a Fox News producer filed a lawsuit against the company, claiming that the network's lawyers coerced her into providing misleading testimony in the Dominion voting system's $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox. The lawsuit was filed by Abby Grossberg shortly after Fox News sought a temporary restraining order to prevent her from disclosing privileged information such as in-house legal discussions. In a federal civil suit, Grossberg alleges that Fox News lawyers coerced, intimidated, and misinformed her as they prepared her to testify in Dominion's $1.6 billion suit. Grossberg also contends that Fox News lawyers advised her against hiring a personal attorney and implied that she was being too candid in her deposition prep sessions. She claims that the attorneys took extra time to make sure she got her story straight and in line with Fox's position, and that she was urged to give generic answers like, "I do not recall." And finally, U.S. cases of a rare and often deadly fungus tripled from 2019 to 2021. More than half of U.S. states have now reported the fungus, Candida auris, which is resistant to several antifungal medications. Candida auris has a mortality rate of up to 60%. The CDC and the World Health Organization have labeled it a growing threat to the public health. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefuckjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Anditas.